came for me one time and was like, all you listen to is Hot 100. Okay, and like, I'm not cultured enough, so now I gotta get more cultured. I'm trying to listen to different artists from other places besides, what you call it, America. I forgot what, look, my brain is all over the place, okay? Forgot what country this was. All right, let's jump into a little pop culture news, shall we? So here's something I found interesting. On January 15th, Michelle Williams, you guys know Michelle from Destiny's Child. She is now a gospel singer. Michelle had to clap back on Instagram because a user went in her comments and came out his mouth, or rather used his fingers to type, "You need some children, Michelle." And she politely clapped back at him and was like, you can't just come into women's Instagram comments and say stuff like that, because a lot of women can't have children, or a lot of women simply don't want children. And I'm glad that she said that and put him in his place respectfully. She is a woman of God. I would have cursed him out, but she was like, watch your mouth and your fingers that you type with, because you don't know what a woman is going through. I don't really know Michelle's situation. I only watched like one episode of her reality show back in the day. I don't even know if it still airs, but I don't really know what Michelle goes through. I don't know if she's tried and couldn't conceive or what, but that's the thing, like, leave reproduction and reproductive rights to women and shut your mouth up, because you don't know what somebody is going through. They could have had 5 miscarriages. You saw how long it took Gabrielle Union to have a baby. Could you imagine if every interview she did, they was like, when you gonna have some kids? When you gonna have some kids? And I'm blessed. I think I've said this on the podcast before. My family has never, ever been in my face like, when you gonna get married? When you gonna have kids? That is not the end all be all to be a woman. Like, please get that in your mind right now. Women are out here becoming vice president. You think we got time for kids? Kamala doesn't have any biological children. Nobody said anything to Kamala. So congratulations, Michelle, for standing up for yourself and speaking on the behalf of a lot of other women who feel the same way as you. Now let's jump into what to watch this week. American Skin. This is a new movie out. I think it's directed by Nate Parker, also starring Nate Parker and Omari Hardwick. Y'all know Omari from Power. American Skin is a movie about a war veteran who seeks justice when police kill his unarmed son during a routine traffic stop. So we know how this goes. You know, we've heard this storyline a million times. I would say the best police brutality fictional story I've seen so far is definitely 7 Seconds. That with Regina King was chef's kiss, perfect. But they're taking a more radical approach to this. So basically, it's like his son was killed during a routine traffic stop, and they decide to bum rush the police precinct, and they set up in the police precinct and hold the cops hostage. And honestly, that's how a lot of black people feel sometimes. Not everybody can be a Martin Luther King Jr. and MLK Day just passed. Shout out to Martin Luther King. But not everybody can be an MLK. Sometimes we need a Malcolm X. Sometimes we need to be a little more radical and do an eye for an eye. Now, this movie, they didn't really promote this movie, I feel like, or maybe they didn't have the money to promote it, because I didn't see like hella commercials and stuff for this movie. And it is, I don't know if it's in theaters, because you know it's still COVID, still a pandemic. I don't know if they had this movie in theaters, but it's definitely on demand. You can watch it on iTunes, YouTube. But I literally saw only one person on my timeline post about it. So clearly nobody's checking for this movie. Nobody's trying to watch this movie. But this girl acted like it was a must watch and it was really good. I personally haven't seen it myself. But, I mean, there is the whole thing about Nate Parker. Like, I know he had some weird, like, sexual assault charges before. And I say weird because I don't really know what ever happened with that. Like, I don't know if it was confirmed or denied. And so Nate Parker, I don't even know if he's canceled or not, but if y'all want to check out this movie, if you want to see the other side, there's 2 coins to it. There's black people, there's oppressed black people movies, and then there's rise up and take action black people movies, and this is definitely the latter. So I'm interested. This is the thing, like, when a movie is just like on Hulu or something, I'm like, I'll waste an hour and watch it. That's fine. When I have to pay to watch it, I'm like, is it worth it? Because it has 29% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. And again, you know, we have to take movie reviews with a grain of salt. I put too much stock into them at times. But I just feel like maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe this movie's not that great. I don't know. It's like $6.99 to rent, so I'm gonna have to decide this weekend like if I really want to pay for it. But another movie that I am definitely excited to watch and definitely will be watching is One Night in Miami. This movie is Regina King's directorial debut, and it dramatizes a 1964 meeting between Cassius Clay, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, who was played by Leslie Odom Jr., and y'all know him from Hamilton and Harriet. And Jim Brown is also depicted in the movie, and he is played by Aldous Hodge. And y'all know Aldous from Underground, Straight Outta Compton, The Invisible Man, What Men Want. So great all-black cast, black storytelling. This is based off a true event, but the catch is, so let me just break it down to y'all. At 22 years old, Cassius Clay unexpectedly defeated Sonny Liston. This was like a huge upset victory for him. And so to celebrate him, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, they all went out to the Hampton House Motel. It was a popular establishment among black visitors to Jim Crow era Miami. As I said at the top, this is 1964 we're talking about. So the next morning, whatever conversation they had that night, whatever was said between these four men, the next morning, that's when Cassius Clay converted to Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. So Regina King basically took a historic real life event and just used her creative liberty and said, you know what, I don't know what was actually said when these four men linked up, but this is what I think they said. And so this movie is on Amazon Prime. I will definitely be checking it out because I just love Regina and everything she touched.